Thank you. How are you?
Very good. I must tell you that I'm a big fan, and I've been a big fan for many, many years.
Thank you.
Watching you on CBC, watching you around the neighborhood. I was lucky enough to come to one of your shows live. So again, I've been a big fan for a long time, but there's something I don't really understand about mentalism. But before I get into it, which is really what I want to know, is how did you fall into it? What made you want to be curious to become a mentalist? And is there a difference in that capacity between a magician and a mentalist? What would be the difference?
Yeah, okay. So first time I saw a mentalist was when I was very young, like 5 or 6 years old, and I watched Uri Geller on TV in Israel. And at the same time, I really believed in superheroes. I thought superheroes are real. Mm-hmm. And when I saw Uri Geller, it was for me a convincer that maybe it's real. Because he's really, he's a mentalist that said that you have special powers and everything. So I believed, and I tried to kind of imitate him. I tried to do some crazy stuff that I saw on movies with superheroes. Thanks God, nothing happened. But most of the things that I tried to do, I tried to read people's minds, like Uri Geller did. Mm-hmm. And it didn't work for a long time. But during the years, I learned and I developed my own ways to read people's minds. Of course, I always say it's not special powers. It's not something that, I can do and other people can do. It's a lot of practice. It's a lot of, I did it every day from the morning to the evening. I try to figure out how to do it. I was a bit like, how do you say, possessed? Mm-hmm. So something like this. And I believed that one day I will be a mentalist. So I became a mentalist, but not the kind of mentalist I believed I will be as a kid, but I became a mentalist.
Yes. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Like the difference between the mentalist you thought you're going to be and the mentalist you became? Because, in terms of success, you're pretty good. You're out there. You're doing a lot of shows with notable people. There is a crew of you, which I'm going to get into a little bit later, that come from Israel. So talk to me about the difference between that, because I'm not quite sure that the audience would understand what is the difference.
So as a kid, I thought I will be a mentalist that have like supernatural powers. I thought I born with something. I didn't know what is a mentalist. So I thought the mentalist is a superhero with special powers that can look at someone and just read his minds. Like the real thing that you see in the movies.
Right.
The reality is not the same, and the mentalist that I am today is someone that can. I know how to observe. I have good intuition. I use my regular abilities, not the special abilities, regular abilities to create something that looks like supernatural abilities or powers.
So, what is really the difference? Because is it? I mean, it's somewhat magic, right? And when we mean by magic, we mean there is a trick there, right? That's really what it's all. It's about tricking the mind. But yeah. Mentalist is more feeding information to the viewer or the participant before they even get into it. What is the allure there? Because you do such amazing things, but I feel like you just can control the entire situation from beginning to end. So there's never a surprise.
Yes. So yeah, and I can do mistakes, by the way, but I know how to get out of those mistakes. The difference between magician and mentalist is magician use special gimmicks or special things that used to make you believe that it's magic. As a mentalist, I try not to use any other gimmicks. The only gimmick that I use is the psychology that I do with you, the psychology tricks that I do on you or somebody else. I know how to manipulate people on stage. I know how to pretend that I read their mind or actually convince them to do 1, 2, and 3, and then I pretend that I guess 1, 2, and 3. So I know how to play with people, especially on stage, because on stage, I can do whatever I want, and people are very nervous or, they don't know what I'm going to do. It's very easy for me to play on their mind or their behavior on stage, and this is what I'm doing. And as I mentioned before, the experience that I have, I started as 6 years old, and every day I practice and practice and practice. So I know how to work with people. The other things that I have naturally is, maybe the empathy. I know how to speak with people, and the intuition, a bit different or stronger intuition, but no special powers, just psychological tricks. I think this is the best term to describe what
But
I'm
what you're
doing.
saying right now is very much about your character, right? Whereas a
Yes.
magician, he doesn't really need the audience. He's got his props in his hands. But for you, it's more about the showmanship. And that's why it's like the mentalist is there to work with someone, to give the illusion, but it's very much your presence that controls it. So when you're saying you're practicing, clearly you're practicing your craft as in learning the tricks, but I'm sure you have to work on your own personality at the same time. Do you want to talk about like the development and how Chaim Goldenberg became Chaim Goldenberg?
Yes, and this is a good question, and you're 100% right. The personality, as a mentalist, the most important thing is who you are as a person, as a mentalist. You need to have a little bit of charisma. You need to how to talk to audience, but this is something you can learn. The other thing that you cannot learn is, because I try to, I do a lot of lectures for mentalists, and I know how to explain them, but now I explain to everybody, and I try to think about the words I'm saying. When you do something, and it's not only mentalism, but for me it works. Some people try to look for their character. What kind of character I need to be as a salesperson, as a mentalist. The answer is very simple. Don't try to find the character. Try to be yourself.
Right.
And this is for me, it's very important. And this is what I'm doing as a mentalist. When I do my shows, when I do what I'm doing, I am 100% myself. And this is the character. It took me a while to find it, but it was there all the time. And this is what I recommend all the people to do. Be yourself. Don't put mask on yourself. Don't try to afraid what other people will say about you. Be yourself, because if you are yourself, you can do miracles, really.
It's
The
interesting
problem is,
because actors do the same thing, right? Where like the best actors that you can think about are those that are almost themselves. Now, yes, there's the odd character that can play almost anything, but sometimes you fall in love with the De Niro, you fall in love with the Al Pacino, and you know that like when you meet them, there's almost the same type of presence. So
yeah,
they figured it out, and in some ways, the really good mentalists are the ones that know themselves. And when you know yourself so good, then you can probably pretend to be a character, but first get to know oneself. Correct? That's the
yes. I'm not expert in acting, but I think you're right. Many actors, and especially the good ones, even if they do different kind of characters, you see the root is the same.
right.
You feel the same thing from the character. But yes, in mentalism, it's so important to be yourself, because this is the only way that you will be able to connect to the other person very clear and very smooth.
I know that you work with a lot of other mentalists. You go to different shows. There's a group of you that are becoming very known, not just in Israel but all over the world. Being on talk shows, talking to entertainers, doing private events. That's a big deal for the Jewish community or the Israeli community or the mentalist community in some ways. What I want to ask is, I know that Uri Geller was your inspiration and was sort of your mentor getting into it. But I'm sure once you went through the process, you found other mentors on the way, because in some ways you feel like you were tricked, right? Because you thought a mentalist is something else. And here you knew that there was more to it than just the, I'm someone special. So who inspired you or mentored you to want to have this as a career, and as opposed to just something to do on the side?
Okay. So yes, you mentioned that we travel a lot, and I do a lot of different work lately. In the last 2 years, I do a lot of behind the scenes, and I help other mentalists to create TV shows or live shows. And it's a lot of fun. It's a little bit new for me, because usually I was in the front. I did shows. In the last 2 years, I did a lot of shows, but also the other thing, the behind the scenes, and it's a lot of fun. It's amazing because I create a lot. I create a lot of new content. And you mentioned the Jewish community. Most most of my friends, the good mentalists are Israelis or Jewish. Don't ask me how, why, but yes, the good mentalists all over the world, if you count them, I think 80% are Jewish.
Wow.
And most of
Is
them
there
from
a reason
Israel.
for that? I mean, I'm just throwing it in the air. I mean, it's just because the people
I
that I
think,
know, David Blaine, or like any of the big ones, they happen to have a Jewish last name or connected. Also, the number one, right?
yeah,
Houdini was also a Jew. So there's something about it. Is there kind of like it's something that you can do on your own and develop on your own, and it's a very Jewish thing to, a lot of Jewish people, for example, are not really into sports. You're not going to find like the Michael Jordans in a Jewish community. But when it comes to entertainment, when it comes to, these things where it's really about the person, we see a lot of Jewish or Israeli influence. Is there a reason that you think?
I don't like to say it, it's, I will try to explain it in I think we are very, how do you say tachmanim?
That's, we,
Just to be honest,
okay. Tachmanim is basically someone who tries to find a way to manipulate. So we're very much manipulative.
Yes. Okay. Now, the thing is, we are like this because we try to survive. We try to, so there is a reason why we are like this, but we are like this, or especially my friends or people that I know around me. We know how to manipulate. We're very smart. And I don't like to say this about all the Jewish, because it's not true. Everybody are smart. We are the way, or the history that we have, everything shape us to be like this kind of person. And I think mentalists need to be like this. As I said, kind of letachmen, to manipulate people.
I mean, but that's really what it's all about. As a mentalist, you manipulate people's minds. Like, I've been to some of your shows where they were able to figure out, I don't know, 8 numbers in a row. I mean, how did they get to that number? They got it because they were able to be manipulated before. They didn't know it. That's the reality.
Maybe.
Listen, I don't know much about it. I'm actually I'm a big fan of the surreal because I don't understand it. So to me, it's something that's just, I don't know, comes naturally to enjoy. I want to know, just taking you back in terms of the mentors, because now you're serving as a mentor to a lot of mentalists around the world. You're, I'm not going to say that you're the old man on the block, but, at some point you have the experience being on stage for quite some time, having a television show. You have something to bring to the table that maybe other young performers need. So talk to me about maybe how you were mentored and how are you using that mentorship to mentor the new generation?
Okay. So actually, it's a kind of surprise. It's every time people tell me, I admire you, you're my mentor, I don't understand how fast it became, because, I'm still young. I'm 45.
Right.
And apparently I teach a lot. I teach a lot mentalists. I have my own product that I sell to mentalists all over the world. And my name are pretty good there. And in the last couple of years, people approach me to be my mentor, teach me, you are the best, and blah, blah, blah. I don't know to explain you why. I don't know. Probably they think I'm good with what I'm doing, but I never tried to be like this. I never wanted to be like this. And actually, last week I had something. I had a mentor. I will not mention names. I don't want to mention the name, but for me, he was like God. It was wow, unbelievable. First time I met him, I was shaky, and he was my more than mentor, much more than mentor. And last week we talked over the phone, and now I know him. Of course, we are friends. And most of the talk, he said that how much he admired me.
Wow.
And I was very proud, of course, but I also felt not good for him. I felt very bad. I remember I went to Miriam and said, I feel very bad. I don't know why. And then I realized, because he was my mentor. I stayed the same, I became better and better, but he, for me, always the mentor. And now he said that I am his, not mentor, but he admired me like crazy. I didn't like it too much.
But that's because a lot of it has to do with also your personality. Like you're very down to earth.
Sorry?
I would say that you're very down to earth. You're very easygoing. I mean, I've known you for a while now, and I could say that every time we had an interaction, it didn't seem like you took yourself too seriously in terms of I am this big shot, which is
Yeah.
amazing because you're very relatable. And in some ways, I remember I asked you a few questions. You're like, you know, you do something, I do something. There's, you know, this is my craft. But at the same time, you know, when people look up to actors, you know, they know the hard work that it takes to become an actor or director. So it's more about you are amazing in your art form. And I mean, I'm going to take a guess of who that person was. Can I? Am I allowed to?
Yeah, there's no way you will know, but
No,
yeah.
oh, no. Okay. So I thought it was David Copperfield. That's
Okay.
who I thought. But
No.
no,
Yeah.
it's not. Okay. But I could see him do that, right? Because he was the top. He was the biggest name in Vegas. But
Yeah.
nonetheless, in my opinion, I think it's the fact that you are one of the most real people that I know. And I think that is really the compliment where I think that
It is.
I'm happy to see that you're there because it's more approachable. It's much easier. And it's
Yes.
not an act where it's like, oh, you were such a nice guy to me on stage. Now you got off and you completely blew me off. Well, I know that you're going to blow me off either way, right? But at least I'm getting the real you, right?
Yeah. And this is also, we go back to to be yourself and to be real. I don't like to pretend. I know that what I'm doing, I work very hard to do what I'm doing. It took me like 30 years to become to this point that I'm very happy with. And it's a lot of very hard work. But it's not, I don't like to say to other people, look how much I work, how much I did, how much I work. Because eventually I am the same like I was 20 years ago. I still learning, I still develop stuff, I still surprise for new stuff. So everything is developed. The secret is, and this is what I tell to everybody, is to work very, very, very hard. If you want to do something, even it's something small, I don't know, but you need to work so hard to become on the top. And this is something that people need to realize. I don't like that people tell me, wow, you are so amazing, but they don't know how hard I work. They think that they see me just now. I hope הסברתי
Yeah, no, I
בסדר?
got it. Oh, no, I totally
Oh,
understood.
sorry.
No, I
Yeah.
totally understood what you were saying. That it's really about owning your craft and putting in the hard work.
Very hard work, and yes, and you don't need to share with other people how difficult it was for you and how hard. Only when you are in top you can say those things, but when you work, don't complain, just do boom, 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 work, you will be the best, no doubt.
There was a documentary that just came out, a documentary series called The Last Dance about Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls.
Amazing.
And you know, there's all these conversations about the best, you know, who is the GOAT, who is the greatest ever. And there was sort of a mentality that Jordan had that sort of like, I'm here to win at all costs. I'm going to do the best to win. And in some way, what it showed to me is that you have to almost become addicted to winning, addicted to just having this tunnel vision and going towards it. And yet today's reality, because of internet and everything that we have, you're almost all over the place. Sort of, you have to be the singer and the guy that plays the piano and the guy that holds the boom, et cetera, et cetera. What kind of recommendations can you have to someone who is starting out in the business, who sees that he needs to be pulled from every direction?
Okay. The best thing I can say, and yes, today, the reality today, it's crazy. People try to be the best, very quick, very fast in all different kind of aspects.
Right.
You need to be focused on one thing. This is number one. To be focused on the thing that you do the best, not what other people wants to see. What you do the best, do it and focus on this. You can try other stuff as well, but focus on one thing that you do the best. Number two, don't ask the question, it's not a question if you will be the best. Believe from the beginning that you are the best. You are the best. And then you will be the best, because it's not a question, it's a fact. And this is something you need to memorize and think about from the beginning, that you are the best. Okay? You are still not there, but you are the best at this point. Now you are next level, you are the best in this level. Number three, never try to compare yourself to other people. Because if you compare yourself, you are taking yourself from the story. Be yourself, okay? And be happy with what you are doing. If you are not happy with what you are doing, change it. But don't change it because somebody else do it better than you. No, don't look around. Just focus in this area, in what you are doing. And this is also the same thing, be yourself, that I repeat all the time because it's so important. And 99.9 of the people are not themselves. Always people have masks on themselves.
You mentioned something amazing because when I started to really follow you, I started to follow your colleagues. The group. I think there's 4 of you that hang out together on a regular. 3 for sure that I know, but there's usually a 4th.
Amir Lustig is my best friend. He was my mentor when I was young. Okay, we are the same age. We became best friends, like almost like brothers. And Amir Lustig, Leon Suchard. Everybody knows Leon Suchard is #1 mentalist over the world, and Guy Bavli. Guy also is a very good friend for a long time. We create a lot of stuff together. So those are the main characters that I spend time every day. Also now we do Zoom like almost 3 or 4 times a day. So those are the main.
I want to talk about that group because if I were to say, and again, I don't know each and every one personally, but knowing something about their character, each one of you is very different. Now you might laugh at the same thing, but each one of you brings something different to the table. So
totally different.
And
totally
talk
different.
to me about that dynamic of being in the crowd of mentalists, meaning you have to live it, you have to breathe it, you have to sort of be around it, you have to be inspired. It's not just I did it and I went home. There's so much more to it about the craft. And some people would say, I go on stage alone, why do I need to be around people who are my competition? And yet at the same time, you guys embrace each other and uplift one another. So talk about maybe the importance of that friendship that you have with those 3 other amazing mentalists.
Okay. So we will start from the point that we are very good friends. So I think between friends, you cannot feel competition because we are real friends. I will not hesitate to help one of them immediately. Whatever they ask, I will help them. Even if there is competition between me and somebody else about a spot on TV, I will help them because I know that they will help me if I need their help. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like small family in the mentalism world. Those are my best, I have a lot of other people that well, but those are exceptions because we are like family. So because we are friends, there is no competition. I will not say that sometimes that I see one of them on stage, at the same moment I want also to be on stage, but not because they are on stage, because I want to be on stage as well. Okay? I want to do my stuff because I really like it. But it's not that I'm jealous or something like this, and this is why it's very easy for me to help them. So there is no competition. Sorry, what else did you ask about this?
No, I wanted to know whether that bond, being around those that are in the field, is also helping inspire you, because some people can look at it as a negative, but I could see it as such a positive. If you know yourself so well and you know what other people can bring, there is still this inspiration of being the best you that you can be.
So yes, because we are good friends and there is no competition, it's very easy to inspire them, and I'm inspired by them. So we feed each other all the time. We think we have different way of approach, but we think the same. We are mentalists. We know we do it for a long time. So and it's funny, sometimes we sit together and we almost don't need to talk to understand what each other want to say. And it's not because we are mentalists, it's because we have this kind of bonding together. It's happened sometimes between husband and wife when we don't need to talk and you know what she wants or what he wants. So it works between us as well. For me, mentalism, it's not a mikzoa. How do you say?
It's not a career. Oh, it's not a job. It's something you love.
Yeah. so for me, mentalism is not a job. It's me. I'm a mentalist. I'm Chaim Goldenberg. I'm a mentalist. It's part of me, and I live it. I dream mentalism. I wake up in the morning. I think mentalism. So it's always in my mind. And also with those guys that I mentioned, and this is why it works so good between us.
It sounds amazing. And by the way, that was going to be my next question, whether it was a regular job, because, you know, as someone in the entertainment world, clearly we have to work hard. We have to put things together. We have to have the knowledge. But if we don't love it, it's going to show in our work. And it's clear that when you're on stage or even off stage, you know, you have this like urge to want to get up and perform. But what's interesting to me is that meeting you, you know, as the person, it's almost hard for me to see you as a performer because you're so mellow, you're so down to earth. You know, there's certain characters that you're seeing, like, you know, Michael Jordan, when you see him, he's always intense with his cigar. Anytime you say something that is a competition based, he'll go back into, and yet you're very calm and collected. And I think that's something that probably, that's the experience. That's what took years to possibly say, here's the performer and here's the me, also the regular person. What I want to ask you is, everybody that sees people at their heights, and I think you're definitely there, they don't know about the failures. They don't know about the negative. And they just see the, you know, like Chaim Goldenberg, the performer on TV, blah, blah, blah. But when it comes down to it, I'm sure that you have had many lows where you maybe even questioned yourself, is this something I want to do as a career, right? Even though your wife is supportive, you know, and I know she works with you. You could even talk to me a little bit about that, how it became a part of your personal life. But I want to know more about, at what point did you say to yourself after failures, this is something I want to do as a career because I love it and I'm good at it, even though I have failed?
You're right. I failed a lot during my career. A lot of fails. Some of them was very painful. 15 years ago, before Goldmine, before my TV show came up, I was in a point in my life 15 years ago that I said, I don't want to do it anymore, or I can't do it anymore. And I told my wife, let's take the all small amount of money that we have, let's make a pilot, put all the money on this pilot, and if it will work, I continue with mentalism. If no, I have to find a job. And it was very serious because, you know, I was kind of almost desperate in this thing. Luckily, the show, we spent all the money, but not all the money, also all the effort to make the best pilot, and we sold it. And since then, everything was totally different. And yes, there is a lot of ups and downs, and people don't know. People don't know how you know, it looks that I'm not working. I wake up in the morning, I just think, I do things with Rubik's Cube, you know, stupid stuff. People don't realize how difficult and how hard is the work that I put on this. Because first of all, I don't care if they know or not. I don't try to show them how difficult I work. I know what I'm doing. I trust myself. I know I'm very happy with what I'm doing. But there is a lot of ups, and I think those downs are very, very important to your future career. Okay, so anytime if you have ups or downs, try to learn from them, especially the downs, because you can learn a lot. This is the best school. When you're down, try to learn from why it happened, what I can do different, what should I do next. Try to learn from those downs. And there was a lot. I will not, you know, it's kind of boring, so I will not speak about those downs, but the most significant one was the one that I said, okay, I'm going to quit. And I almost quit, and, you know, I was working on a pizzeria or something, I don't know.
If what you're saying right now is what a lot of people who, you know, especially artists, all types of artists, you know, because you're good at your craft, but until you get recognized or until you become a household name or whatnot, you know, it's almost, you know, like, it's funny because my parents go, you don't really have a job, you know, because, you know, until you're making money off it. But I'm like, I'm doing the exact same thing. The same work goes into it, actually a lot harder because I'm in control of everything. Talk to me about the people that are out there who are artists and reach that point in their careers where they go, look, I'm 40 years old, I got a wife at home, a few kids, and I can't keep, waiting for that opportunity. Now, luckily for you, it worked out by, going all in and making it work. But what lesson maybe can you take from this to inspire the next generation of artists? It doesn't have to be necessarily mentalists, but artists who want to see their craft being more recognized.
Question number one that I ask everybody that asks me this question is, I ask him two questions. One, what is more important for you, to make money or to make art? And you have to decide before you start your way. Most of the people, they want to be artists, but they also want to have money. And this is two things that are not going together. Because if you think how to make money from art, probably it will not work. Because most of the artists are not getting there. But if you start and say, art is the most important for me, I don't care about money, or it's not the most important thing for me, it will be easier for you to succeed because you are totally focused on the art. And this is the main thing that I say to everybody. Now, it's very risky. I don't encourage you to be artists. No, it's very risky. Most of the artists not succeed, okay, because of many things, because of the pressure of the parents or because of pressure of friends or environment, whatever, because they don't trust themselves that they are good artists. And there is no good artist or bad artist. There is artist. And if you are artist, you know it, you feel it. So if you decided to become an artist, do it with all your power, with all your beliefs, and just do it and focus on this and don't care about the other stuff. And, it's easy to say, but money is really not the most important thing in life. And most of the people will say that I'm wrong, but this is what I feel and what I think until this point.
I think it's great. I'm going to involve your family in this one, make it a little bit more private. Your wife has been with you throughout this process. She's, I believe, even your manager. You guys have an amazing relationship. But I'm sure at one point or another, she also got to this like, well, look, we can't keep living like this if we haven't reached a point. Tell me about how important it is to have a supportive wife, a supportive partner, because in my opinion, knowing both of you, she seems, as much as she's artistic, very business. And you seem more of the artist and you complement each other. Oh, I could be wrong about what I see, but it seems like she's more business, you're more, and yet she still has the heart to support you. And what I mean by that is, there are many women out there who kind of like, look, if by this time it doesn't, you're out and you do it on your own. But yet you had a partner that was really there as not just somebody to hold your hand, but lift you from that position and even work with you. Talk to me about how important that relationship is.
The relationship is very, very important, especially with what I'm doing, and especially because we work together. I always say, and I feel that for me, my wife, for me, it's like winning a lottery. I couldn't ask better than this. She's not that she's great in business, she's great in marketing. She knows exactly what to do that I don't know. She's there. I think she is the motor behind what I'm doing. I do my art, and I'm very lucky that she took the control and bring it there. It's not me. She did the most. I try to do my best in what I'm doing, and she allowed me to do it. Even in the low point that we was in life, she was always lifting. It will be okay, continue, because she believed sometimes more than me. And the only thing I can say that I'm very lucky that I have Miriam, and really I couldn't ask better. If people ask me about, try to give some tips about this, I don't know, because for me, it's very natural. We decided that this is what we're doing from 20 years ago, and we just did it. There was no argues about, now there are some things we're asking what we need to do now, because we are in point that, okay, where we are going now, and she wants to do some other stuff, but everything was very, very natural. Like, we knew that this is what we're going to do. And also Miriam and also me, we worked very, very hard. She did crazy stuff at the beginning. You know, she was sitting in a small room with a phone book. You know, people don't know what is a phone book, and she tried to call companies and to hire me, and it was very difficult at the beginning. But the thing that she helped me, and she lifts me every time I need, and when she needs, I lift her and help. This is very important. The other thing that is very important, the communication. Okay, because we are husband and wife, but we also work together. She's my manager. I work for her, with her. The communication is the most important thing. So even you have fight, stop. Okay, you fight, you're angry, you do whatever you do, then you go back and you talk. Very important to talk. Talk, and listen. And I think we are very good with this, and very lucky that we find each other. And yeah.
It's very lovely. And I know she's also in the room, so I'm sure that she's smiling over there. But
No,
I
no,
want
she's
to
not
know,
here.
since
Okay.
you are in the manipulative world, have you, now this is maybe something for the audience, but have you ever like tried to use your manipulation in some ways to get her to do things? I mean,
On Miriam,
yeah, I mean, I'm just curious whether, you know, you
I
ever
tried.
tried
I
to use
tried.
some of your tricks.
I try almost every day without success. Doesn't work. It doesn't work with Miriam.
That's very good. I have like maybe three more questions to ask. And one of them is really, I want to talk about the presence, because you're already reached a certain point. As I said to before, you had a show going on, you perform in many, many places. You're a regular in specific halls. I know that you travel the world. You go to Israel on a regular basis. You mentor people. But lately, in the last 2 years, I've been noticing real success working with some Hollywood greats. I saw you were doing something with Jay Leno not long ago.
Yeah.
There was David Copperfield. I saw, I think Asher, if I'm not sure, but I
Yeah.
think I saw that. So, I mean, you can name, I'm sure there are things I didn't see, but talk to me about how does it feel to almost say I somewhat have arrived? Because not everybody gets to work with these people. You have to be almost handpicked to get to that position. So talk to me about the feeling of getting there.
Yeah. So yeah, lately in the last 2 years, I started to work with a lot of A-list, very famous people, very important people. And the answer is very simple. Because I am very simple and I'm very real, very important for me to, it depends who is the other person. Some celebrities are, I don't like to work with them. I see immediately that everything is fake. And some celebrities are very nice. And for me, the most important is not to work with them on the show, is to work off the show, behind the scene, on the green room. It's much, for me, it's more important. And this is why when I'm very excited to know people that succeed, that are very, very on the top, and to talk with them like normal. To be honest with you, most of them, no, I don't say 50-50. 50 of them are really not nice and fake. Sorry, I don't say no nice. They are fake. They're not real. They try to sell you something, how big they are. I don't like it. The people that are, you can have a conversation with, I like very much. I treat them like normal people. They treat me like normal person, and it's a lot of fun.
Rather than talk about the maybe like the bad person, right? Let's give somebody, you know, a shout out. Tell me maybe a celebrity that you worked with and you really enjoyed being around them, and you know it's somebody that you could see a friendship for a long time, or maybe it's even another magician that you could see yourself working with.
One of them that I really enjoyed to work with was James Corden. I was behind the scenes. I didn't appear in his show, but we worked a lot together. We created a special show for Leo Sushard. So we was there with James Corden all the time. Very lovely person, very nice, very down to earth. It was pleasure to talk with. You know, it's funny to see. You see those A-list people, and you think they have everything they want, but no, they have the same problems we have. They you know, they need to still work very hard to get more and more or be better. And with James Corden, you definitely felt it is one of the number one talk shows I host now, but he's very nice person. And when you talk with him like this, it's like I talk with you, and this is what I like especially about him.
What I want to know is, what is the ultimate goal? I mean, if I were to take your resume, aside from like having your face everywhere all over New York or Barcelona, like Michael Jordan in the 92 Olympics, you've done it. So what is sort of like do you have a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, a ultimate plan where you go, you know what, I'm going to go after this big kahuna. And now that's what I'll say, you know what, I may retire and do shows whenever I want. Now, I might be putting words in your mouth, but I know that everybody has this sort of the big picture.
So the big picture is to be very good mentalist, very, very good mentalist. I never had a goal in my life that I want to be in this stage or on this TV show. No, never. I try to focus on the journey. Okay, for me, it's very important to focus in the journey and to explore. So if you ask me what I want now, what next, I want to continue the same. If my life is as mentalist going like this, I want to continue this line. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be to point where I want to be. I just want to continue exactly like I do right now. With this Corona, of course, everything that the cars are, everything is new and we need to figure out new ways. But I just want to continue. I want to explore. I want to learn. I want to develop new stuff. Just continue to do what I'm doing, to be able to do what I'm doing. And all the rest will come. I know it will come. And I don't care if it will be in this show or in this country. It's not about this.
In order to, for anybody in any field, I would say sports or anything competition, anything where it's important to be out there, we all have a goal. We sort of all have, now clearly the goals will change once we reach this or reach that, right? Michael Jordan wanted to bring a championship to Chicago. He did that 91. Then it was 92. Then it was 93 and so on and so forth. But what is a goal for you that you feel like, I mean, I could say it personally, I think you've made it, no question. But I think you feel like there's a little bit more room. You feel like I'm still not the name that I want to be. And I'm not talking about just like being famous, but I'm saying having that ultimate show, having that ultimate presence, or maybe even being a household name. What is your sort of ultimate goal? Not necessarily 5 years, 10 years, but like sort of where you go, you know what? I'm content. Like this is really where I want it to be.
I know it sounds weird, but I'm very happy where I am right now. I'm very happy with this. I don't want it will be worse than now, or I'm very happy with this, but I want more in aspect of, I want to create more. I want to be able tomorrow, wake up tomorrow and create more, and to be able to think of new ideas, to help other mentalists, to have, you know what? Yes, I want more big shows. Yes, this is something I want. I want more shows like 1,000 people, 2,000 people, 5,000 people shows. This is, I want more. Yeah.
Okay, so wait, it's the performer in you. So you want to be able to share your love.
I want to touch more people. Yeah.
Careful. Today you can't. You have to, wash your hands and 6 feet and all that.
I will.
I again, you're doing a lot of amazing things, but I don't know everything about you. Is there something that you want to promote, something that you're doing next? Why don't you tell people of what's up and coming for you? Because again, I keep seeing you doing this Zoom, the Brady Bunch Zoom with all these different mentalists and celebrities. And for me, it's just like, oh my God, like this guy's there and that guy's there. But for you, it's like, this is the job. So talk to me about what's up and coming. Is there something big that's on the horizon? Because clearly these behind the scenes, or at least to me, they're not just there for that moment. It's for something in the future. So where are you going? Like what's next?
So the near project is I'm working on a new Zoom show, like a real show on Zoom with a lot of interactive stuff that I will be able to do for big groups. Maybe soon the Zoom will go and nobody will use it, but for me it's a great, I like the idea of thinking of a new show. So I'm almost there. The show is almost ready. Another thing that came up from this Corona, I have a new idea for a new pilot for a TV show that it's totally different from what people saw until now regarding mentalism and magic. It's a totally different concept. So I'm working on this. This is a big project and it will take a while, but I already have the basic things. Mm-hmm. And those two things, for now is the most important. And to see how I go back to, to reality soon when the shows will come back and I will start to fly it again. And so I need to adapt all the situation right now.
I want to tell you, Chaim, that you're an inspiration. And as much as you're very humble as a person, you need to understand that there is an impact that you can have by just smiling at someone. But you do a little bit more than that. So you make people happy, and you also, you make people wonder. I think your entire career allows people to really think that there is things that they can reach beyond their means. Sort of like, how did he do this? And the curiosity. And I think that's a great teaching device that you have. Now, it's funny because when you started this conversation, you said, well, I kind of fell into this mentorship. I kind of fell into it, but it seems to me that your entire life, you've always been that teacher, but it's just hard to look at yourself as that because you are also a student. And I think the best teachers out there are actually the best students. And
yes. I think you're right. You're exactly right. For me, it's very important to be from the side of a student and to learn new stuff. You mentioned something, and it's really, when I do my shows, the main goal in my show is, number one, is to make the people, to entertain the people. Number two is to let them go home and open their mind a little bit. Now they start to think a little bit. And if I achieve this in my show and people go and start to think, I did my job. And you just say this in a kind of different words.
You are, again, as I said, I'll take it back. You're an inspiration, and I would love to see your upcoming shows. Let us know, maybe if you have a website, for us to put a website for people to connect with you, because the bottom line is, if there's no audience, who you're performing for, right? At the end of the day, the more, the merrier. And I want to make sure that everybody gets to see your magic and your smiling face. And also, it's, as an Israeli, and I'm just going to say it, for myself, it's a proud moment. I remember when I turned on CBC and I saw Chaim. I didn't know who you were or anything like that, but it was like one of my people. And then slowly, it just became, maybe I can do this. If he can do this, if a little guy from Haifa, and so on and so forth. So I want to say, keep the hard work going. Thank your wife for being there as support. You have a diamond in the rough. And I wish you and your family the very best. And I look forward to seeing you in your next show.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And really good luck for you too. And I will definitely send you all the information you need. Thank you very much for publishing.
My pleasure. Listen, I was told to do this, but I'm very happy to do it because you're clearly someone that I've been now following for a long time. So I really appreciate our time together. And until next time, I hope to see you on another show. All right?
Thanks.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.